The warriors Sigurth and Regin went up to the Gnitaheath and found there the track that Fafnir the dragon made when he crawled to water. Then Sigurth made a great trench across the path and took his place therein. When Fafnir crawled from his gold, he blew out venom, and it ran down from above on Sigurth's head. But when Fafnir crawled over the trench where Sigurth was hiding, Sigurth thrust the sword into his body, to the heart. Fafnir writhed and struck out with his head and tail. Sigurth leapt from the trench, and each looked at the other. Fafnir said, "Youth, O youth, of whom then, youth, art thou born? Say whose son thou art, who in Fafnir's blood thy bright blade reddened, and struck thy sword to my heart." Sigurth concealed his name because it was believed in the olden times that the word of a dying man might have great power if he cursed his foe by his name. So Sigurth said, "The noble heart, my name, and I go a motherless man abroad. I had no father, as others have, and lonely I ever live." Fafnir now spoke. If father thou had not, as others have, by what wonder were you born? Though you know, and I know, your name on the day of my death, you are hiding it. You know that you do lie. Now Sigurth spoke. My race, I think, is not known to thee, and so I am myself. Sigurth my name, and Sigmund's son, who smote thee thus with the sword. Then Fafnir spoke. Who drove thee on? Why were you driven, my life to make me lose? A father brave, the bright-eyed youth had. Because in boyhood you are bold. Sigurth spoke. My heart did drive me, my hand fulfilled, and my shining sword so sharp. Few are keen when old age comes, who timid in boyhood be. Now Fafnir replied, If thou might grow your friends, well, one might see you fiercely fight, but you are bound, and in battle taken, and to fear are prisoners prone. Sigurd shot back, Thou blamest me, Fafnir, that I see from afar the wealth that my father's was. I am not bound, though I was taken in battle. You have found that I live free. Fafnir replied, In all I say, does your hatred be seen. Yet I alone do tell truth. The sounding gold, the glow-red wealth, and the rings, they shall be your bane. Sigurd spoke. Someone the hoard of gold shall ever hold, till the destined day shall come, for a time there is when every man shall journey hence to hell. Fafnir retorted, The fate of the Norns before the headland you find, and the doom of a fool. In the water you shall drown if you row against the wind. All danger is near to death. Sigurd spoke. Tell me then, Fafnir, for you are famed for being wise, and much you do know now. Who are the Norns who are helpful in need and bring the babe from the mother? Fafnir answered, Of many births the Norns must be, nor one in race they were, some to gods, others to elves are kin, and Volin's daughters, some. Sigurd spoke, Well then, Fafnir, because you are famed for being wise, and much you do know, what do they call the isle where all the gods and Sigurd shall sword sweat mingle? Fafnir spoke. The island is Oskopnir, where all the gods shall seek the play of swords. Bilrost breaks when they cross the bridge, and the steeds will swim in the flood. The fear helm I wore, my helmet of fear, to frighten mankind, while I was guarding my gold. Mightier I seemed than any man, for a fiercer never I have found. Sigurd spoke. The fear helm surely no man shields when he faces a valiant foe. Often one finds when the foe he meets that he is not the bravest of all. Fafnir replied, Venom I breathed when bright I lay by the hoard my father had. There was none so mighty as dared to meet me, and I did not fear weapons nor wiles. Sigurd spoke. Glittering worm, thy hissing was great, and hard did you show your heart. But more hatred the sons of men have for he who owns your helmet. Fafnir spoke. I counsel you, Sigurd, heed my speech, and you ride homeward hence. The sounding gold, the glow-red wealth, my golden hoard, and the rings your bane shall be. Sigurd spoke, your counsel is given, but go I shall, to your gold in the heather hidden, and Fafnir, you with death do fight, lying where hell will have you. Fafnir spoke, Regin, my brother, betrayed me, and you he will betray. Us both to death will he bring. His life, I think, must I lose. For the mightier man was you. Regin had gone to a distance, while Sigurd fought Fafnir, and came back while Sigurd was wiping the blood from his sword. Regin said, Hail to thee, Sigurd, thou victory hast, and Fafnir in fight has slain. Of all the men who tread the earth, you are the most fearless, I think. But then Sigurd shot back. Unknown it is when all are together, the sons of the glorious gods, who the bravest born will seem to be. Some are valiant, who redden no sword in the blood of a foeman's breast. Regin replied, You are glad, Sigurd, of battle gain, as Gram, Sigurd's sword, with grass you cleanest. My brother fierce in fight you slew, and I somewhat slew him myself too. Sigurd spoke. Afar did you go, while Fafnir reddened with his blood, my blade so keen. I matched my strength with the might of the dragon, while you, in the heather, did hide. Regin spoke. Longer would you in the heather have let your hoary giant hide, if the weapon had not availed you. Grom, the sword I forged, the keen-edged blade that you do bear. Sigurd spoke. Better is heart than a mighty blade, for him who shall fiercely fight. The brave man well shall fight and win, though dull his blade may be. Brave men are better than cowards when the clash of battle comes. And it is better to have a glad man than a gloomy one, who shall face before him what lies. Your rede it was that I should ride. You said, ride hither over mountains high. The glittering worm would have wealth and life, if you did not mock at my might. Then Regin walked off. He went up to Fafnir and cut out his heart, his brother's heart, with his sword that was named Rivil. And then Regin drank his brother's blood from the wounds. Regin said, Sit now, Sigurth, for sleep I will. Hold Fafnir's heart to the fire, for all his heart shall eaten be. I shall eat it, since deep of blood I have drunk. Sigurth took Fafnir's heart and cooked it on a spit. When he thought that it was fully cooked and the blood foamed out of the heart, he tried it with his finger to see if it was fully cooked. But his finger burned. So Sigurth automatically put his finger in his mouth. But when Fafnir's heart blood came on his tongue, Sigurth understood the speech of birds. He heard nuthatches chattering in the thickets. A nuthatch said, There sits Sigurth, sprinkled with blood, and Fafnir's heart with fire he cooks. The breaker of rings, I think, was wise, to eat the life muscles, all so bright. A second bird spoke. There Regin lies, and plans he lays, to betray the youth who trusts him well. He's speaking lying words with wiles, until his brother, the maker of mischief, he has avenged. A third nuthatch spoke. Less by a head, let the chatterer hoary go from here to hell. Then all of the wealth he alone can wield, Sigurth, the gold that Fafnir guarded. A fourth nuthatch spoke. Wise would he seem, if he would so heed the good counsel we sisters give. Well, thought he would give. He would give thought, and the ravens gladden. There is ever a wolf where his ears I spy. A fifth nuthatch spoke. The tree of battle must be less wise than to me it seems the leader of men. If forth he lets one brother go, when he of the other the slayer is. A sixth nuthatch spoke. He seems very foolish if he shall spare his foe, the bane of the folk. There Regin lies, who hath wronged him so, yet falsehood he knows not. A seventh nuthatch then spoke in turn. Let the head from the frost-cold giant be hewed, and let him of rings be robbed. Then all the wealth which Fafnir's was shall belong to thee alone. Then Sigurth spoke. Not so rich a fate will Regin have, as the tale of my death to tell. For soon the brothers both shall die, and hence to hell shall go. Sigurth went up to Regin and hewed off his head. Then he ate Fafnir's heart, and drank the blood. Yes, he drank the blood of both Regin and Fafnir. Then Sigurth heard what a nuthatch bird said. Bind, Sigurth, the golden rings together. It is not kingly, aught to fear. I know a maid, though there is none so fair, rich in gold, if you might get her. Green the paths that to Giuki lead, and his fate the way to the wanderer shows. The doughty king a daughter has, that you as a bride may, Sigurth, buy. Another bird spoke. A hall stands high on Hindarfjall, all with flame it is ringed without. Warriors wise did make it once, out of the flaming light of the flood. On the mountain sleeps a battle maid, and about her plays the bane of the wood. Ug with the thorn, Ug with the thorn hath smitten her thus, for she felled the fighter he fain would save. There may you behold the maiden helmed, who forth on Vingskornir rode from the fight. The victory bringer her sleep shall break not. Thou heroes' son, you, so the Norns have set. Now Sigurth rode along Fafnir's trail to his lair, and found it wide open. The gate posts were of iron, and the gates of iron too. Were all the beams in the house. What were they of? Iron. And the house was dug down into the earth. There Sigurth found a mighty store of gold, and he filled 2 chests full thereof. He took the fear-helm and a golden mailcoat, and the sword Hroti, and many other precious things, and loaded Grani with them, but the horse would not go forward until Sigurth mounted on his back.